Hello and welcome back to Ollie Talks Airsoft. Today we are talking about my very first airsoft gun. Anyone that watched my sort of unboxing of the box of fragile stuff behind me will realise that I pulled out my very first ever airsoft gun. So I figured just for me, I want to talk about it. And I want to tell you the story about how I got it, when I got it, and actually some of the features of this gun that are just unbelievably cool. So yeah, let's get started. So this is a Maurzen micro UZI. I got it when I was about 12 years old, so that's somewhere over 20 years now that I've had this, and unbelievably it still works to this day. It has seen better days ultimately. As you can see down the front, it's literally two pieces of plastic stuck together and they are starting to come apart. There's also some tooth marks on here from where my friend's dog Gromit got a hold of it and enjoyed it as a chew toy for a little while. Also the retention for keeping the top on is just not really there anymore. So this is yeah, this gun has ultimately, it's seen better days, and before I really knew what I was doing, I was putting like paint BBs through this and it was just chopping them up. So this gun actually, it feeds from the magazine into the chamber, and that is not a good system if you're going to be trying to use paint BBs. And on a full auto gas gun, that's yeah, it's asking for trouble. Anyway, I was 12, so I knew no better. Went to a model shop in Norwich, and I think it was £120 when I got it. And it just comes with this short 20 round magazine. But you'll notice it does kind of look a bit weird. There's like a big hole in the middle of it. And this particular Uzi has a feature that I've not really seen on any others before. There's actually an internal gas tank in here. So there's nothing in the chamber at all, but isn't that insane? Yeah, it's a really interesting gun. One that I don't think you can I don't think you can get anymore. I think if you were to get a version of the micro Uzi nowadays, it would be somewhat different. I've seen other people with micro Uzis a bit like this, but they all just seem to have way higher rates of fire and things like that. This one it's a real slow chugger, and I'm sorry to say it doesn't really feed all of the BBs anymore. It does it sort of works, but I think it's basically this this spring here that feeds the BBs up is now like so weak that, you know, it was left for years completely loaded and things like that. So it's not had a good life. You know, mistakes were made in the 20-something years of having this. And for a few years I'd actually given it to one of my friends, and he was using it for a while. So like a lot of people, when I was a kid, me and my friends used to go out skirmishing, and we used to have goggles that we got from ultimately the science department at school, and we used to go out on some private land and have like mini skirmishes of our own. And this was kind of the king, other than my friend Sam, who just had a slingshot full of gravel, and that is, you know, we were kids. So yeah, this was like the weapon to have. I do remember one time I got really caught out because everyone knew that it had this like internal gas reservoir, and all you have to do is put the mag in, take it out, and it tops up the reservoir. But it makes a really distinctive sound when it's out of gas. And what my friend Dan did is he hid under a bush, waited for me and my friend Alex to walk past, and he fired like that. It sounded like he was out, so me and my friend Alex like went over to try and find him, at which point Dan slipped the mag into the gun, cocked it, and let rip at our kneecaps. So yeah, thanks for that, Dan. That was a great time when I was about 12 years old. So yeah, obviously, you know, I've learned a lot since picking this up, and I've learned a lot with it. But it is interesting because I've kind of gone full circle. You know, this being a full auto only gas gun as being my very first airsoft gun. This is probably the last thing that you would ever suggest to anyone to get as their first airsoft gun. You would probably say, I would recommend someone to get an AEG, get an electric gun, you know, 300 round mags and stuff like that. No. Although I wasn't doing serious skirmishing, when it came to doing serious skirmishing, that started when I was about 15, and I did actually get a Tokyo Marui M4A1. They'd only just come out, they were just new to the market. I picked one up and I've actually still got it. So at some point I'll do a review on that as well, but it's not really an AEG channel, it's more gas blowbacks. And what a way to start, like, yeah. Why not quickly chrono the thing and see what it's still clocking in at, because, you know, it's interesting to know, or it's interesting for me to know anyway. So, I mean, ultimately, you'll probably never see one of these for sale. If you do, I'd say, you know, pick one up. They're really fun. Like, not much use on the actual airsoft battlefield at all, but for putting the fear of into your enemies, then great stuff. So that's clocking in at 268 FPS. That's using 0.2 gram BBs, and I am using 144A gas because, you know, this is an all plastic replica that is literally falling apart at the seams. So again, 260 FPS, 240 FPS. This is so much fun. 256. I think we're out. Okay. This is such a cool gun, and if you ever see one on the secondhand forums, I would thoroughly suggest picking one up. They are just unbelievably good fun, but certainly for me, yeah, this has been like a real nostalgia trip. As you can probably tell, I'm really happy about this. It's a bit of a stupid review because obviously no one's going to have one of these, but if you do, like, drop it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you if you also have one of these. It's so freaking cool. The safety still even works as well. Like, how unbelievable is this thing? Yeah. Cool mag ejection as well, for fast reloads, nice and tactical. Not that I have anything to reload into it, but, you know, that's how it goes. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, guys. I really appreciate it. And there is going to be some more really cool stuff coming to the channel very soon. As a little sneak peek, this is a Runcam Scope Cam 2 4K. So I've got that for getting some extra footage for you guys. And I've, you know, upgraded sort of my editing software and things like that, as you've probably seen from the last few videos. So if you want to see more of this kind of stuff and more interesting things, not necessarily like useless gun reviews, then hit the subscribe, which will be like down here somewhere, or down here. And yeah, you'll get notified of when my new videos are coming. So thank you very much for spending your time with me, and I will see you soon.